my lovelies, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video in which the topic is going to be cream blush everything. So I want to go through my cream blush collection with you, kind of give you swatches, tell you why I like each one. So we have a lot to talk about today. If cream blush is something that, like me, you absolutely love using, even more than powder, then just stay tuned and keep on watching. So let's just go ahead and go through my collection. This is just gonna be super laid back, chatty. Let's talk about what I have and why I like each one. So I'm gonna start out with a couple of what I think are really popular ones. The Rare Beauty, these are the liquid blushes. They're cream blushes, but I consider them to be more liquid. I do have one of the mattes and one of the, I don't know, not satin, but it's got that dewy type of look. And so Joy and Bliss are what I have here, and these are so awesome. I haven't added more to my collection just because I feel like it's going to take me so long to go through these, and in addition to all of the others that I have, but I do have my eye on a couple. These are extremely pigmented, so these aren't for the faint of heart. Not that you have to put a lot of work into these, however, they're very, very pigmented, so you want to go in with a little bit. They blend out so nicely though. They give a beautiful, not only flush, I would say it's a step up from a flush. Absolutely lovely. I love both finishes, quite frankly. I think they both just look very smooth, very lovely on the skin. And I love having these in my collection. Again, I want to pick up a couple more, but I feel like I'm not even using these as often as I would like, but definitely love those. Let's see, let's go into a couple others with kind of the same packaging type of style. Let me mix this one up a little bit. I just noticed that it's looking a little bit funky. Anyways, these are the what are these called exactly? It's the Dew Blush, and that's exactly why I love them. They leave a dewy finish on my skin that is absolutely lovely. I love the dewy look. Not everybody does. You may be a matte only type of girl, but for me, these just work. They're very beautiful. For being a dew blush, they're kind of a step above, again, just a flush, not near as pigmented as the Rare Beauty, but definitely not just a simple light wash. Like, they pack their own little punch in their own way, and I love the shades that they came out with. Now, these are definitely some that I want to pick up more of. There are 4, I have 2, so I kind of want to pick up the other 2. I love them that much. These have a very chunky applicator. I mean, this is a very large applicator for being a cream blush. Cover a lot of territory there. Some people like going in directly. I do that most of the time. Some people like to put it on their hand and go in with a brush. I think for not only so that it's not as much pigmentation right off the get-go, but for hygiene purposes, a lot of people prefer to do it that way too. I think both ways is lovely. Just whatever works for you. These are incredible, and pick these up during the sale and I am loving them. I was so happy to add those to my collection. Let's see, I've got 3 of the Rare Beauty Cheeks Out cream blushes, and these are also very beautiful. I do have to say though that these have really taken a back seat to all of the new cream blushes that have come out and that I've been adding to my collection. And honestly, looking back, I'm like, I don't think now that I was as, like, these didn't knock my socks off as much as, like, for example, the Dew blush that I just showed you. These didn't do that. Now, I love them, and at the time I was like, oh, these are really nice. But comparing them now, I'm like, wow, some stuff has really come out that has really just been a little extra. I remember that everyone was complaining that these are so small, and I really don't care because, quite frankly, like, seriously, I'm never going to go through all of this. But they're very easy to work with. They do have a more balmy type of, like, balmy gel type of formula, so I wouldn't consider them to be like cream. I would even say that the blushes are a little bit more on the gel feeling, and it's because I'm sure they have that dewy finish. So same thing with these. They do have a more of like a balmy type of finish, not exactly like a cream, even though they're considered a cream blush. But anyways, so yeah, I have Fuego Flush, Strawberry Drip, and Petal Poppin'. I do love that they are little mini versions of a lot of her bigger stuff. Okay, like a bird or something just ran into the window. That was weird. Okay, that freaked me out. But anyways, like, you know how like the bronzer and her, I can't even remember anymore, but the highlights, they are the bigger versions of these. And I like that she kept it consistent because you know that the small ones are the blushes. So anyways, those are a very welcome part of my blush collection, cream blush collection. Next, let's talk about Milani. Milani killed it with these, and I would dare say that if this did not have a drugstore label on them, if I did not know that these were Milani, I don't think I would know that they were drugstore. They are that good, and literally is something that I feel like I could find at Sephora. These are definitely, I'm so glad I added these to my collection, and drugstore can be very hit or miss for me. Although within the past year or so, I find that I am liking it more and more. There's more that I like than I don't. And I'm finding stuff that I'm just like, wow, for the price point, I am so glad I went out on a limb and tried this. These being one of them. And I know everybody was raving about them. I tend to, for the most part, really go on the, I don't know if recommendations, but if Juicy Jazz really likes something and talks about it for a while, I get to where I'm like, I kind of want to try that. But there's been some times where I'm like, have not liked something that she has really liked, which is just preference. It's just different tastes. But this was absolutely such a, it's not even a find because I went off her recommendation, but it's the Cheek Kiss Cream Blush. I feel like this is almost kind of like a mix hybrid between a cream feeling and a balmy feeling. But anyways, it's a little bit thicker, I think, than like the Fenty one that I just showed you. But these are so pigmented, so lovely. They go on just beautifully. Now, also have to tell y'all, one of the things for me is, can a cream blush go on nicely over powder? Because I have found that if I put on cream blush and then powder my face, that blush gets so lost. And I'm not the one to really do a lot of layering. Like, okay, I'm going to go in with cream blush, then powder, then go in with powder blush. I just don't do that. I like my cream blush to be my blush. So for me, that is the ultimate, you know, can this stand the test? Can it layer over top of my powder? And all of the ones I have showed you, perfection at that, including these. So I have, let's see, Coral Crush, Blushing Berry, and Nude Kiss. Love these. These are so good. I reach for them very frequently, and I think they're like $8 or $9. So I love that I have those in my collection. Just so perfect. Okay, going into Tower 28. Let's see, this one's a bronzer, so I'm gonna put this one to the side. I actually have two by the brand, and these are from the lineup that they did before their newest lineup, I guess. But I have, let's see, Happy Hour and Magic Hour. Now, these definitely do have a very balmy gel consistency. It's almost like the Milani. I feel like there is an aspect of creaminess to them, but more than anything, I think they're more that balmy gel formula. I like these very much. I'm very happy that they're in my collection. I'm honestly going to tell you though, they're not my favorites. I don't reach for them almost hardly at all anymore, and they kind of would go in that same bucket as the Fenty, where I don't think they ever knocked my socks off as much as I had hoped they would. I love the packaging. This kind of acrylic packaging somehow speaks to me. I don't know. It's so simple, so plain, but there's something about it that is so sturdy, and I really, really enjoy that. So I like the tones of these. They are lovely. It's something that you can use on your lips. A lot of cheek products, as far as cream cheek products, are marketed for like lip and cheek kind of thing. So I don't even know what to tell you it is about these that it never really wowed me as much. Maybe it's just the pigmentation. I find the pigmentation on these to be, it's beautiful. I mean, in no way, shape, or form is it just a wash or just a light flush, but there's something about the pigmentation and the finish in the others that I showed you that just kind of made these took a back seat, honestly. And like I said, from the time I picked them up, they were never really a reach for frequently type of blush. A lot of people love these though, so They are a beautiful shade to use on the lips, but honestly, I mean, I don't know, you may be watching this and be like, I use it on my lips all the time. I was gonna say, quite frankly, how often do we grab a cheek product for the lips? But yeah, they're a part of my collection that I am happy to have, but it's kind of one of those things where I feel like I probably wouldn't go out and buy more unless the color absolutely just knocked me off my feet. So have those. Let's see, I have another drugstore cream blush that I actually like very much, but I don't reach for as much, and I'm going to tell you why. So the e.l.f. Putty blush, I love this shade. I forgot what shade it is. I think it's like Turks and Caicos, but it's funny because the bottom doesn't have the shade name, which is unusual. So it does come in the same little container as like their Putty eye primer. And I like the concept. I don't know if that's the right word. Here's what I don't like about it that causes me to not reach for it as much, and that's the fact that my brush can't fully fit in here. I use a Real Techniques cream blush that's a little bit wider, it's a little bit poofier, and some of the bristles fall outside of that, and I don't like that because I find that it'll start to mess up my brush. So I know that sounds very strange. Let me know in the comment section below if that happens to you too. But aside from that, this is a very lovely blush. This definitely is more on the creamier side. It's a little bit of a heavier consistency, but it is beautiful. Now, if I had to choose between this one and the Milani, I think I would pull for the Milani. I just reach for that one more frequently. There's something about that finish that leaves me a little bit more dewy than this one. But this is still an absolutely stunning blush. It's a wonderful formula, and I think these are like $5 or $6. So quite frankly, I'm going to say the same thing as I said about the Milani. If there wasn't an e.l.f. logo on here, I would have absolutely no idea that this was drugstore. That's how good it really is. Again, if it's not for the packaging, I think I would use it a little bit more. But aside from that, again, super happy to have this in my collection. And not that I never reach for it, it's just I don't reach for it as often. Okay, we have got 3 more to go through. So I have one of the Rare Beauty Melting Blush. This is the blush formula she released well after the one I showed you at the beginning. The packaging for me is everything. I love this. It looks like a little macaroon. I just think it is beautiful. The shade of pink is right up my alley. This is my very favorite shade of pink. Now, I do like this formula very much. I know a lot of people have said that it lifts their foundation, it lifts their powder. I find that if I go in with a light hand, it doesn't. But yes, if I start getting a little bit heavier with this formula, it does start lifting a little bit. You end up with a few bald spots, that kind of thing. So if I had to choose between this one and the others, definitely choose the others. This is also more of a kind of gel formula. It's not, to me, it's not creamy. So it has that more sheer wash of color than the others. So it's definitely for the person who wants kind of a no makeup type of look. And I think this particular collection that she released, because she also released some glosses and stuff with it, I think was meant to be even lighter than what her normal lineup is. And so it was meant for that, I'm sure. There's been a couple that have caught my eye that I kind of want to pick up, like nearly neutral, but I'm finding I don't reach for this one hardly at all. So I'm like, is there any point in picking up another one when I hardly use this one? I think not. But anyways, so I have that bad boy. And then the Hourglass, let's see, this is a very recent one. This is one of their Vanish blush sticks that released during the sale, this last spring sale. And I gotta say, this is definitely not my favorite formula. It's not my favorite blush, cream blush in my collection. I wouldn't by any means say it's a dud or anything. It's Hourglass. Hourglass makes beautiful products, but it just kind of missed the mark for me, especially for the price tag. For this kind of price tag, you want to absolutely love it, which I think a lot of people do based on the reviews. For me, though, it just was kind of a, I could take it or leave it. It's I don't know. The formula it's very thick and creamy. This is to me, the epitome of a cream blush. But I find, because again, I like to kind of go, directly onto my face. I find that it tugs a little bit, but in addition, it is hard to blend out. You have to work at this like, yeah, you got to put some effort, you got to put some muscle into that to get it all blended out to the way, at least for me, I have to. I say you, me, I have to blend it out to where I want it. Like it takes some muscle. And I don't think I should have to do that, but for some people, that's not a deal breaker. Anyways, so definitely not one of my favorites. I have the shade Sacred, which is a very neutrally pink type of shade. It's a beautiful shade. And I had originally thought when I bought this one, I was like, I think I'm going to love it. Let me pick out a couple other shades. And you know what? That didn't end up happening. So I'm glad I have it in my collection because it adds a little bit more variety. It gives me a little bit more knowledge on the different formulas out there, but it's not one that I would run out and pick a different shade of. So let's move into the last cream blush in my collection. And this is my absolute favorite cream blush. There's several more on my loves list. I'm just waiting for a little while, you guys, to use up a little bit of what I have, but LYS makes, in my opinion, the most epic cream blushes of life. So I have one shade and it's the shade Kindness. It's actually the shade I am wearing today. And this is, if I had to say, the easiest cream blush to work with. It is almost kind of, again, a little bit of a hybrid between that balmy feel and that cream feel, but more on the creamy feel. But this blends itself. This is what I had hoped this would be because of the price point. This was like, I think almost $50, and I want to say this is like $16. I'm probably totally wrong. Of course, as usual, I will link below, but this particular blush formula blends itself. It leaves me looking so airbrushed, so lovely. There's no like line. Sometimes you put blush on, you've got that line. My last few reviews, you've probably noticed that. Like, why is it I just have like a blush stripe kind of thing? Not with this one. This one just absolutely glides on the skin, looks so effortless. It's absolutely stunning. Like, I feel like I need this in every single shade. Anyways, so this is absolutely 1000% one that I would buy more shades in, and I will probably buy more shades in this before I buy anything else to supplement my current collection. This is where it's at. This formula is absolutely beautiful, and the longevity, it lasts on me all day long. So for cream blushes in my collection, I don't have a lot of issues with them starting to fade and get patchy and ugly. But if I had to pick one for being the strongest out of all of them for longevity, it's this one. Like, this checks every box. And this is the star of my cream blush collection. It's the one I probably reach for the most. Okay, y'all. So lastly, the LYS was supposed to be my last one. But here's the thing. Sometimes you forget about something and it creates this whole, it doesn't go as you planned. So here we are. I am in different clothing. I'm back from church. Excuse the dog who's about to come around. Anyways, so I realized, I was like, what am I forgetting? What am I forgetting? Well, of course, how could I forget the Melt Cream blushes? I had not yet put these in the spot where all of my other cream blushes are. They were in with my powder blushes. And I was like, there's one I'm forgetting. I really feel it. Yeah, this is, come on, this is big. So LYS is still my favorite. I had meant to make that one last, but this one does run a close second. The Melt Cream blush lights are absolutely beautiful. Now, the formula to these, what everybody says is true. These are very creamy. They go on so effortlessly, so nicely. And I would consider these to be more of a creamy type of texture. They come in two kind of different finishes. They come in this just plain Jane, almost kind of like a satiny finish. And they also come in the, I don't know what you would call this, but it's got a shift. It's got some gold shift in it. Not any kind of glitters or anything, but they're absolutely beautiful. I would rank these again as a close second to the LYS blushes. Just so easy to work with. They look airbrushed. They look absolutely lovely. They practically blend themselves. And I am one that when something is super hyped up, I typically don't end up liking it. And this is finally a product that was hyped up that I ended up absolutely loving. Typically, if something is hyped up, I don't like it, and vice versa. If people hate it, I'm usually the one person that goes against the grain and really likes it. But anyways, These are definitely a staple in my cream blush collection, and I wouldn't mind picking up a couple others. All right, my friends, well, with that, I will let you go, but I do want to give you a quick verse of the day to encourage you and tell you that I love you. Today's comes from Psalm 27:14, and it says, "Wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart, and wait for the Lord." If you're going through difficult times right now, I've been there, and so, I just want you to know that I not only sympathize, maybe to a certain extent, because maybe what you're going through I've never gone through before, but I just want you to know that there is one who understands, who sees you at the point you are, in the place you are, who longs to help you, and his name is Jesus. You guys know I have to share the good news with you every single video. I love him so much, and it is my prayer that if you don't already know him, that he would make himself so real to you, that you would feel a peace and an all-encompassing love, that there would be no doubt in your mind and in your heart that it is him who is just absolutely embracing you, just with his love, enveloping you. Thanks again for stopping by and chatting makeup with me today. I love each and every one of you, and I will see you in the very next video. If you have video ideas that you would like for me to do, it's hard to do the one-offs, but sometimes there is kind of like a general consensus of what several of you want to see. So let me know in the comment section below. I'm always open to that. You guys know I love each and every one of you, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day, friends. Bye.